Welcome back to Exciting Europe. In Milan, nestled within a humble former dining hall, lies one of the most famous and fragile artworks ever created, Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. This is a revolutionary masterpiece that captures the raw, explosive shockwave of betrayal, forever changing the course of Western art. In this video, we're not only going to decode the dramatic psychology of every single apostle, but we'll also uncover the incredible true story of its survival. We'll break down the genius of its composition and reveal the crucial details lost in the original, including Jesus' feet, by showing you an incredible contemporary copy. From the secrets of the Sforza family who commissioned the work, to the Allied bomb that nearly destroyed the entire room in 1943, we'll guide you through every layer of history and genius. We won't just focus on Leonardo, we'll turn around and analyze the massive Crucifixion by Donato Montorfano on the opposite wall, which provides the essential counterpoint to the drama. Stick around to the end, because we're also sharing all the practical tips you absolutely need. The real price of tickets, how to navigate the strict security process, and the one crucial app you need if you can't find anywhere to leave your backpack. Let's dive into the refectory of Santa Maria delle Grazie.
This entire area is the complex of Santa Maria delle Grazie, or in English, the Church of St. Mary of Grace. While the beautiful church and the old Bramante sacristy are absolutely stunning, we have a separate video covering them on this channel. Right here is the ticket office, where you can leave any small bags before your visit. Now let's concentrate on our experience. 10 minutes before your designated time slot, you will be let into the first waiting area. After that, exactly at the time of your visit, you will be taken through a security check and then ushered into the dehumidifying area. You'll wait here for another 5 to 10 minutes in an especially designed room where the air's humidity is carefully lowered. This is a critical conservation measure designed to protect the fragile artwork from the moisture carried in by the visiting groups. While you are waiting here, you can observe the beautiful cloister of the dead outside the windows. Then the final door will open and you will enter the former refectory to admire the frescoes. You will have exactly 15 minutes for your visit. After that, you will be asked to exit into yet another air-controlled room. Once you pass through that final chamber, you have unlimited time to use the restrooms or browse the souvenir shop located in the adjacent gift shop. Let's look at the history of this remarkable complex. The Dominican monastery of Santa Maria delle Grazie was begun in 1462, but its transformation into a Renaissance jewel began in 1490 at the command of Ludovico il Moro, the Duke of Milan. The Duke chose the monastery church, which was built between 1466 and 1482, as his burial place, commissioning the brilliant architect Donato Bramante to redesign the apse, a true masterpiece of Italian Renaissance architecture. It was also Ludovico who brought the greatest genius of the age, Leonardo da Vinci, to Milan. Having arrived in 1482, Leonardo held various roles at the ducal court as an architect, engineer, and sculptor. The Duke ultimately tasked him with painting The Last Supper inside the monastery's huge refectory. According to tradition, the refectory was intended to show the beginning and end of Christ's Passion. The Last Supper on the north wall, painted by Leonardo between 1494 and 1498, and the Crucifixion on the opposite south wall, completed by Giovanni Donato da Montorfano in 1495. Today, when you look at the refectory walls, they are mostly plain white with only a few non-consistent decorations remaining. This is due to one of the most dramatic moments in the painting's history, the night of August 15, 1943, during the Second World War. An Allied bomb struck the adjacent cloister of the dead, causing the entire vault in the east wall of the refectory hall to collapse. Miraculously, the Last Supper survived. It had been previously secured and protected by scaffolding and heavy sandbags. As historical pictures taken immediately after the bombing show, the protected north wall stood alone amidst the rubble, saving Leonardo's masterpiece. Equally astonishingly, Montorfano's Crucifixion on the opposite south wall also survived, its fresco and supporting wall intact. These works were literally the only part of the room left standing, creating a powerful, enduring symbol of survival.
It is crucial to note that due to Leonardo's experimental technique, the original Last Supper mural is truly very faded. We will talk more about that fragility later in the video. For the purpose of clearly describing and explaining the details, we will often refer to the outstanding copy currently in London. This large oil painting on canvas, attributed to Leonardo's pupil Giampietrino and created around 1515, is located at the Royal Academy of Arts. Whenever we switch to the copy for clarity, you will see a red note appear in the upper left corner of your screen. And here we are, standing in front of the painting that fundamentally changed the course of Western art. It is one of the most famous and influential paintings in history. But what is the exact moment it represents? The air has just been shattered by Jesus' dramatic pronouncement, "Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me." This single, explosive revelation provokes an intense emotional shockwave across the table. Leonardo masterfully captures this turbulent human moment, moving far beyond earlier, static depictions. His version is a profound study in psychology, showing each apostle's unique, profoundly human reaction, from shock and disbelief to anger and self-doubt, all of which contrast sharply with the singular, composed calm of Christ at the center. Simultaneously, the work subtly alludes to a second, more hopeful event, the institution of the Eucharist. Notice how Jesus' outstretched hands gesture toward the bread and the wine on the table, pointing toward salvation, even amidst the unfolding betrayal. But who are these 12 people seated at the table, and what is their reaction to this devastating news? Leonardo da Vinci organizes the apostles into 4 distinct groups of 3, creating a stunning composition that channels the shockwave of Christ's announcement from the center outward. Starting from the far left, the first group is consumed by total disbelief. Bartholomew stands rigidly at the end of the table, braced for impact, indicating utter shock. James the Lesser leans inward toward the center, seeking clarification, while Andrew throws his hands up in an unmistakable gesture of self-protection and surprise. Moving closer to Jesus, we encounter the central, volatile second group. Here stands the drama's focus, Judas Iscariot, the betrayer. He is partially recoiling into the shadows, his face darkened. His right hand clutches a small bag, a subtle sign of the 30 pieces of silver he was paid, and he has accidentally knocked over a salt cellar, a traditional symbol of bad luck and betrayal. Leaning fiercely over Judas is Peter, identifiable by the knife clutched in his hand, foreshadowing his later defense of Christ in the Garden of Gethsemane. He is intensely focused and urging the young John, the beloved disciple, to ask Christ who the betrayer is. John appears overwhelmed and swoons toward Peter. On the other side of Jesus, the third group is characterized by intense questioning. Thomas is clearly upset, raising his famous index finger in a gesture that may foreshadow his later doubt about Christ's resurrection. Beside him, James the Greater appears stunned and alarmed, dramatically throwing his arms wide open in shock. Finally, Philip gestures towards his own chest with a look of sincere distress, silently pleading, "Surely it is not I, Lord." The final group on the far right consults in hushed confusion. Matthew gestures wildly toward Christ and then back to his companions, demanding an explanation. Jude Thaddeus turns to Simon the Zealot, who is seated at the very end of the table. Simon, appearing the oldest and most composed of the three, is looked to for an answer to their collective, profound confusion.
The composition of the Last Supper is celebrated for its symmetry, balance, and revolutionary use of perspective, which seamlessly integrates the painted scene into the real space of the refectory. Jesus Christ is the clear and powerful focal point. He is positioned at the absolute center, perfectly framed by the large central window behind him. The entire architectural framework, the walls, the ceiling coffers, and the receding lines of the table, are constructed using flawless one-point linear perspective. Every line converges at one vanishing point, located precisely at Christ's right temple, which draws the viewer's eye inevitably toward him. Beyond the strict geometry, the composition maintains a symbolic balance. The 12 apostles, though seated in one continuous line, are strategically divided into 4 distinct groups of 3 figures, a division that visually reinforces the emotional shockwave across the table. The meal takes place within a simple, austere room framed by dark tapestries. The 3 windows that grace the back wall are key, with the brilliant light pouring through the central window creating a natural, radiant halo behind Jesus' head, further isolating and sanctifying him against the light of the landscape beyond. Leonardo da Vinci's greatest innovation was not simply painting the Last Supper, but fundamentally changing how this sacred moment was represented. The most immediate and striking difference between Leonardo's work and everything that came before it is the placement of Judas Iscariot. The earliest style is exemplified by the 6th century mosaic of Sant'Apollinare Nuovo in Ravenna. In this early Christian representation, the figures are shown in the Roman fashion, reclining around a semicircular table. Jesus is not centrally placed. Instead, he and the apostles are gathered toward the side, blending into the group. Jumping forward to the early Renaissance, a standard composition emerged, seen in works like Andrea del Castagno's Last Supper from around 1447. In this composition, while the loyal apostles are lined up facing the viewer, Judas is seated alone on the opposite side of the table, closest to us. This visual separation immediately marks Judas as the outsider, making his identity obvious. Leonardo completely abandoned this visual segregation. By moving all 13 figures to the same side of the table, he forced the viewer to focus on the psychological drama unfolding, using human emotion, dynamic grouping, and the play of shadow to create a far more realistic and engaging moment of profound spiritual crisis. Leonardo da Vinci was famous for his exhaustive preparatory work. He spent years sketching the figures and conducting what he called a study of the motions of the soul. The ultimate reason the Last Supper is so faded today lies in his radical decision to abandon the durable, traditional buon fresco technique, painting quickly onto wet plaster. Instead, Leonardo wanted the freedom to work slowly, add subtle shadows, and achieve the vibrant colors of an oil painting. To do this, he chose an experimental medium called Fresco-Secco, dry fresco, applying a layer of tempera and oil paint directly onto the dry stone wall. Unfortunately, this innovative technique was unstable. The wall was exposed to moisture, and because the paint was not chemically bonded with the plaster, it began to flake and detach almost immediately after the painting was finished, turning the masterpiece into the fragile ruin we see today.
One shocking piece of damage to the Last Supper occurred long after Leonardo finished the mural. In 1652, over a century after the painting was completed, the friars of the convent decided to cut a doorway right through the bottom of the wall to make access easier to and from the kitchen. This act tragically removed the central portion of the mural, including the feet of Jesus and a part of the table underneath him. Today, the only reason we know exactly how Christ's legs and feet were positioned is thanks to the incredible precision of Leonardo's pupil, Giampietrino, who created the London copy. This large oil painting, now housed at the Royal Academy of Arts, was painted before the doorway was cut, making it a faithful record of these lost details. This faithfulness is why the London copy was considered so invaluable. It served as the primary visual guide for art historians and restorers during the massive 21-year restoration of the original mural that concluded in 1999. The lunettes above the fresco contain the coat of arms and a Latin inscription that proves this entire space was a dedication to the powerful Sforza family. This is not just decoration, it is a permanent political statement. We can still clearly identify the names and titles of the ruling family of Milan by breaking down the Renaissance shorthand. The LU stands for Ludovico, the Duke himself, and the MA refers to Maria, a common part of his official name. The next part, BE and EST, refers to his beloved wife, Beatrice d'Este. The final SF confirms they are both from the House of Sforza. Finally, the inscription ends with Dux Mediolani. The word Dux translates as Duke, and Mediolani confirms he is the Duke of Milan. The remaining decorations in the hall are generally attributed to Bernardino de Rossi of Pavia. Today, they can only be seen on the left side wall. These consist of a richly painted beam structure and circular medallions, or tondi, which once contained images of saints and beatified members of the Dominican order. Sadly, only 2 of these medallions are still clearly visible, including one depicting the Blessed Margaret of Hungary. These remnants offer a faint glimpse into the room's rich decoration before the devastating bombing in 1943 stripped the walls back to their simple plaster.
Now, let's turn to the south wall, opposite Leonardo's masterpiece. This entire surface is filled by the monumental fresco, the Crucifixion, signed and dated 1495 by the Lombard painter Giovanni Donato da Montorfano. Montorfano wisely chose the traditional, enduring buon fresco technique, which explains why his work, unlike Leonardo's, survived the centuries and the 1943 bombing relatively intact. He painted an enormous, crowded scene, featuring the 3 crosses, Jesus, Tito, and Dimico, so high that they enter the 3 arched lunettes above. In the background, Montorfano includes an idealized Renaissance city, evoking the biblical city of Jerusalem, the setting for the tragedy of the Calvary. While Montorfano's work is celebrated for its clarity, critics often note that his crowded composition is somewhat scattered and theatrical, especially when contrasted with the quiet, focused drama of Leonardo's work across the room. Within this throng of soldiers, saints, and onlookers, Montorfano prominently features both religious figures and the ducal patrons. We can trace the presence of Saint Vincent Ferrer, a famous Dominican preacher and intellectual. Just beneath the crosses are the portraits of the ducal family, including the patron himself, Ludovico il Moro, who kneels with his elder son, presented by the famous Dominican martyr, Saint Peter Martyr. Among the core biblical mourners, we see the deeply sorrowful Virgin Mary. Since this is a Dominican refectory, the founder of the order, Saint Dominic, is also prominently depicted. Near the foot of the cross is the passionately grieving Mary Magdalene, followed by the intellectual pillar of the order, Saint Thomas Aquinas, and the young apostle Saint John, who is consumed by sorrow. The ducal family portraits continue on the right, where the influential Saint Catherine of Siena presents the Duchess, Beatrice d'Este, kneeling with her younger son. Finally, Montorfano includes Saint Margaret of Hungary, a royal princess who joined the Dominican nuns. This work holds a crucial secret. The portraits of the Sforza family, Ludovico il Moro, Beatrice d'Este, and their sons, were actually painted by Leonardo da Vinci himself, in the same non-durable tempera technique he used on the Last Supper. Tragically, this technique failed again on this wall, and these family portraits have faded over the centuries to mere shadows. These ghostly profiles serve as a poignant reminder of the Sforza dynasty and unintentionally reinforce the comparison between Montorfano's durable, traditional fresco and Leonardo's complex, fading genius.
The most convenient way to reach the museum is by using the Milan Metro's M1, Red Line, or M2, Green Line. Simply take the metro to the Cadorna FN station, from which the museum is just an 8 to 10 minute walk. The museum is open from Tuesday to Sunday from 8:15 a.m. to 7 p.m., with the last admission at 6:45 p.m. The museum is closed every Monday.
It is absolutely crucial to understand that if you have not pre-purchased a ticket, there is no use in attempting to visit. Due to the critical conservation measures required for this delicate painting, tickets are mandatory for all visitors and must be booked well in advance for a specific timed entry slot. There are two primary options for securing admission. The first is through their official website, where tickets are priced at €15. If you are interested in this option, you can scan the QR code on the screen or check the link in the description below. Unfortunately, these standard tickets often sell out 2 to 3 months in advance. Therefore, the most viable alternative is to book a guided tour. Yes, these tours are more expensive, but they guarantee your entry. You will be guided in a small group, usually up to 6 people, with a great opportunity to have the painting and its history thoroughly explained. We have highlighted a few recommended tour operators in the description below. Once you have your tickets, you are strongly advised to arrive at least 30 minutes earlier than your scheduled time. This is especially important if you need to leave any personal items like your backpack, water bottle, or food in the lockers. The lockers are conveniently located next to the ticket office. Now, based on our last visit, and this was a surprise, the official lockers didn't work. If you are on a guided tour, we observed that a guide for a subsequent group was sometimes assisting by temporarily holding bags outside the building. But if you purchased a standard ticket, we highly recommend using a third-party service. For this, we used the Radical Storage app. Their nearest left luggage facility is actually just 3 minutes away. You will need to book it online, which you can do as little as 15 minutes in advance. And the location is actually a charming, healthy food store where you can enjoy breakfast or lunch after your visit.
We have decoded the genius, the drama, and the history behind Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece. Standing in this refectory, it's impossible not to be moved by the sheer artistic audacity of the Last Supper and the miraculous endurance of both it and Montorfano's Crucifixion, which literally survived a World War II bomb blast. If this journey into the art and history of Milan has inspired you, don't let the exploration stop here. We've got an entire series dedicated to maximizing your time in this incredible city. To help you plan your visit, check out our video on Milan public transport and our complete guide to suggested one-day trips from Milan. And if you're hungry for more art, be sure to watch our detailed analysis of Milan's other great monuments, like the fantastic Duomo and the beautiful basilicas and museums. You can find links to all those videos and the tour operators we mentioned right now in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something new, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into art and travel history.